Have you ever stood in the spice aisle, tossed a jar of whole peppercorns into your cart, and thought nothing of it? What if I told you that those tiny black spheres, the ones you grind without a second thought, were once worth more than gold by weight, and that the plant producing them is so difficult to cultivate outside its native range that most botanists call it a living treasure? What if your weekly grocery run is quietly stocking you with seeds that took ancient civilizations' entire trade routes to obtain? Seeds that monks guarded behind monastery walls. Seeds that launched wars, funded empires, and fed royal courts for centuries. Today at Grow with Ease, we're opening the spice jars, peeling back the produce stickers, and revealing 10 grocery store staples you buy every week that are actually some of the rarest, most historically precious seeds on Earth. Stick around to number 1 because what's sitting in your pantry right now has an unbroken lineage stretching back 11,000 years. And the most staggering part? You can grow every single one of them. Number 1. Whole black peppercorns. The jar in your spice cabinet contains seeds that once functioned as currency. Medieval European merchants paid rent, taxes, and dowries in black pepper. Attila the Hun demanded 3,000 pounds of it as ransom for the city of Rome. Yet here it sits next to the paprika, costing $4. Piper nigrum, black pepper, is native to the Malabar coast of India, and the living plant is extraordinarily rare outside tropical cultivation. Each peppercorn is a drupe, a fruit containing a seed. Plant an unprocessed peppercorn in warm, humid conditions, and you'll eventually coax a climbing vine that produces cascading chains of berries. Gardeners in zones 10 and 11 have grown it successfully in containers. The key is heat, humidity, and patience, the same conditions that made this seed worth its weight in history. Number 2. Cardamom pods. Split open a cardamom pod and count the tiny seeds inside. What you're holding are seeds of Elateria cardamomum, a plant so labor-intensive to harvest that it's the third most expensive spice on Earth, behind saffron and vanilla. Every pod is hand-harvested before it fully ripens in highland forests of Guatemala and India by farmers working plots their families have tended for generations. The seeds inside grocery store pods are viable when fresh. Ancient Ayurvedic physicians prescribed cardamom for digestion, respiratory ailments, and even depression, a reputation now confirmed by modern research showing genuine anti-inflammatory compounds. In zones 10 through 12, cardamom grows as a lush, shade-loving perennial. In cooler climates, it thrives in a container, bringing the ancient spice gardens of Kerala right to your windowsill. Number 3. Whole coriander seeds. Coriander seeds were found sealed inside Tutankhamun's tomb. Egyptian physicians prescribed them for digestive ailments thousands of years ago, and archaeologists have unearthed coriander in Bronze Age settlements dating back 7,000 years. The spice jar in your grocery cart carries that entire lineage in miniature. What most people never realize is that whole coriander seeds from the spice aisle are fully plantable. They're the dried fruit of the cilantro plant, each one a 2-seeded capsule waiting for water and warmth. Here's the trick. Lightly crack the seeds between your palms before planting to improve germination. They sprout in 7 to 10 days, produce cilantro for harvesting within weeks, then bolt to seed, completing the ancient cycle that fed pharaohs. Number 4. Fennel seeds. In Greek mythology, Prometheus carried fire to humanity inside a hollow fennel stalk. The ancient Athenians called fennel Marathon. It gave the battlefield of Marathon its name. Roman soldiers chewed fennel seeds before combat, believing they granted strength and long vision. And yet this mythological plant sits quietly in the baking aisle, costing $2.
Fennel seeds from the grocery store sprout readily in well-drained soil and grow into towering perennials that return year after year in zones 6 through 10. Once established, they self-seed freely, creating a living medicine chest and pollinator magnet that Mediterranean cottage gardeners relied on for centuries before modern monoculture nearly erased that tradition entirely. Number 5. Dried chickpeas. Every bag of dried chickpeas in your pantry contains seeds cultivated since 7,500 BC in the ancient Fertile Crescent, one of the oldest domesticated crops in human history. Neolithic farmers in what is now Turkey and Syria were selecting and saving chickpea seeds long before the wheel was invented. Their legendary storage durability means dried chickpeas retain seed viability longer than almost any other legume. Soak them overnight, plant them 2 inches deep in rich soil, and they'll produce bushy plants laden with fuzzy pods, while simultaneously fixing nitrogen into the soil beneath them. Ancient farmers didn't know the chemistry. They just knew the land grew better after the chickpeas came through. Number 6. Fresh pomegranate. Every fresh pomegranate holds between 600 and 1,400 seeds, each one a potential tree. In ancient Persia, pomegranates symbolized immortality so completely they were embroidered on royal robes and carved into temple walls. Persian physicians used every part: seeds for food, rind for medicine, bark for dye, an entire pharmacy in a single piece of fruit. Plant a fresh pomegranate seed in well-draining soil and germination appears within 2 to 3 weeks. The plants are drought-tolerant, cold-hardy down to about 10 degrees Fahrenheit once established, and begin producing fruit within 3 to 5 years. Here's the wild part. Seeds grown from grocery store pomegranates produce genetically unique plants, natural hybrids that no seed catalog can replicate. You might grow something that has never existed before.
Number 7. Fenugreek. Charlemagne himself ordered fenugreek planted in every imperial garden in 812 AD. Hildegard of Bingen, the 12th century abbess and herbalist, prescribed it for fever, lung complaints, and inflammation. Arab physicians called it the seed of 1,000 cures, and yet most Americans walk past it every week in the spice aisle without a second glance. Fenugreek seeds from the grocery store germinate in 48 to 72 hours, faster than almost any garden seed you'll find in a catalog. They fix nitrogen in the soil, produce edible leaves tasting faintly of maple syrup, and modern research has confirmed what medieval healers observed intuitively. Fenugreek contains compounds with genuine anti-inflammatory and blood sugar moderating properties. Ancient wisdom, proven by science, available for $2. Number 8. Whole dried chilies. The whole dried chilies hanging in your grocery store, anchos, guajillos, pasillas, contain seeds bred by Inca and Aztec cultivators over 6,000 years of intentional selection in the Andean highlands and Mesoamerican valleys. These aren't mass-produced hybrids. Many are open-pollinated heirloom varieties whose genetics haven't changed meaningfully in centuries. Scoop the seeds from a dried chili, dry them on a paper towel for 24 hours, and plant in warm soil. Germination rates from fresh grocery store stock often reach 70% or better. What you're growing isn't just a pepper plant. You're germinating a living artifact of indigenous agricultural genius, connecting your backyard to the same highland fields where Aztec farmers worked the earth thousands of years before any seed catalog existed. Number 9. Whole dried lentils. Lentil seeds found in Middle Eastern archaeological digs date back 11,000 years, making them among the oldest cultivated crops in human history. They fed Roman legions, sustained medieval peasants through Europe's hungriest winters, and represent one of the most unbroken agricultural traditions ever recorded. The bag in your pantry connects directly to that 11,000-year chain. Lentils sprout if they haven't been heat-treated. Test a handful by soaking overnight. If they swell and show a tiny root tip within 24 hours, they're viable. Plant in cool soil in early spring, and they'll climb, flower, and produce pods for fresh or dried harvest. Their roots fix nitrogen, leaving the soil richer than they found it, exactly as they did in the fields of ancient Mesopotamia. Number 10. Fresh ginger root. Arab traders walked the Silk Road for 1,000 years carrying ginger root between India and Europe. Roman physicians prescribed it for digestion. Medieval apothecaries charged as much for a pound of ginger as for a live sheep. And yet here it sits at the bottom of your produce drawer, quietly beginning to sprout, showing you exactly what to do next. Plant fresh ginger root, a piece with visible growth buds, just below the surface in rich, moist soil. It spreads slowly into a colony of aromatic rhizomes, harvestable in 8 to 10 months. In zones 8 through 12, it grows as a perennial. Everywhere else, a container on a sunny porch brings this Silk Road treasure 2 feet from your kitchen. The sprout isn't a sign it's gone bad, it's an invitation. From black pepper that once paid ransom for cities to lentils feeding civilizations across 11,000 unbroken years, the most extraordinary seeds on Earth aren't locked behind rare catalogs or botanical society memberships. They're stacked on grocery shelves between the pasta and the canned tomatoes, waiting for someone to recognize what they actually are. Which of these seeds are you planting first? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what grows from your grocery cart. If this changed how you see your next shopping run, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been walking past a seed vault every single week without realizing it. Join the Grow with Ease community, where every seed you plant brings you one step closer to freedom. Don't forget to subscribe.